Mario's Madness version 2 is a mod for Friday Night Funkin' that released on December 22nd of 2023 and directed by Marco Antonio. I say directed and not created by him because, as you might expect for a large mod, it was created by a long list of people. Also, for the sake of full transparency, I'm going to be using the Mario Madness Wiki a lot for finding a lot of original sources and creators for songs and references. So if you want more information about something, I will leave a link in the description to the homepage of the wiki. Now, there's a lot of cool stuff in the mod that I want to cover, but also I don't want this video to be 3 hours long, which, look at the runtime of the video and tell me in the comments how long this video actually ended up being. And while you're down there, don't forget to like. I put a lot of effort into this, and I really hope you like it. Before we get started, there's a little bit of info that we already have access to. There was a FunkKast on October 14th of 2023, stating that the game would be out by Halloween of the same year. Glad to see that all went according to plan. Other than poor time management skills on the side of the developers, we can actually learn something else. Text scrolled by on screen during their section, giving a preamble of sorts for the mod. In the early 90s, a deal was made by a popular rock star named Dearest and a hive mind in the video game market named M. Both had a monopoly on the industry, with Dearest partnering with Nintendo. They earned millions of dollars each year, until one day when Dearest had enough money, he betrayed M and sealed him in one of his many creations. M remained sealed away on a cartridge for over 30 years, before finding out that not only Dearest had retired, but that he had a family and a daughter. M learned that Dee Dee's son-in-law was really good at singing, and M knew this was his chance to take revenge on him for breaking their deal. So M sent himself over to the Dearest household to take away the most important thing for him. Now, without further ado, let's get into the world of Mario's Madness. The story opens up with girlfriend and boyfriend being very unemployed and not at all interacting with each other when there's a ring at the door. Fucking Among Us! Anyway, it looks like he has a package, and clearly neither of them are very impressed with his package. It's a bloody cartridge, and for the love of God, if he puts that thing. Okay, there he goes. I can't save stupid, I guess. Boyfriend enters the game of the original Mario Brothers. And is immediately bad at video games. The screen goes red, static can be heard, while boyfriend looks dumbfounded at the screen. Meanwhile, girlfriend is too busy watching Spanish TikTok. Boyfriend continues by spamming only one side of the controller before getting grabbed by someone's hand and dragged into the TV static. Girlfriend following shortly after. They fall through the void before boyfriend wakes up. He sees girlfriend face planted on the ground. He tries to wake her up, but she smacks him and tells him not to worry. Boyfriend begins to wander, somehow misses the tall Italian man standing right in front of him.
You looking for someone? Seems you don't recognize me. It's me, Mario. Almost. Oh, you two seem a bit scared. Well, don't be. I'm not gonna kill you. Yet. I want to have some fun with you two midgets before I end your lives. Oh, don't bother using your powers. They're useless here. This is my world. Oh, you gotta pay for what that traitor of a man you call a father did to me all those years ago. You, on the other hand, I've heard so many stories about you. You defeated lots of creatures, some like myself. Monsters, demons, angels, freaks. So, how's about we make a deal? 3 songs, just 3. Beat me, and I'll let you go. Lose, and you'll perish by my hand. Very well. Let's go.
You know, I agree with Girlfriend here. It's amazing that all the boyfriend's enemies always just want to rap battle him. It's really quite convenient. The first song serves as a simple taste of some of what's to come later on in the mod, but for now, we only have one thing to go over, the description. Every song in Mario's Madness has a description if you pause in the middle of the song. This one reads, after being pulled into the game, the world of Super Mario seems much different than your memory serves. The landscape is twisted and distorted with harsh colors and thick atmosphere that make simply residing torturous. You are met with the world's most beloved plumber, who does not seem so friendly. There's a little bit of misdirection already, as we know from the FunkKast text, this isn't actually Mario, but instead someone called M. I only make the distinction now because other Marios will show up throughout the journey, and I'd like to make it clear when I'm referring to him specifically.
Oh, this is so much fun. How's about we take things up a notch?
He claims to be having fun, but he has brought you to an even more intense location. You were lucky to survive the first round, but now you will need a miracle. This is only the beginning. The next song is Starman Slaughter, and already in just the second song, as Mario said, they are taking things up a notch. This song already has some new sprites for Mario, such as his idol where he snaps, though most poses are near identical to It's a Me. The ground under everyone has been set ablaze, and now we are playing in front of Peach's castle. Is that a pair of bones? Why yes, dear commenter, it is. Mario's Madness is no stranger to doing temporary characters through songs or even switching opponents in the middle of a song. And that dry bones actually has a name, that being John Dick. And there he goes, just as quickly as he came, and Yoshi? And Peach? Both looking very beautifully animated. And for those of you observant enough, you would have noticed that Yoshi slammed on a POW block to knock him off the platform. These two are known as Horror Peach and Yoshi.exe.
found the warp star, which means, eventually, they'll stumble across the others. But don't worry. Mario get you next time.
Welcome to the Overworld. It seems like you've wandered far from home into a new world. The only way to leave? You have to press on and beat the entourage of Mario's fiendish friends he's set up to get you. Good luck. Going back for a moment, M mentioned in that cutscene the others, which most likely means that there are other spirits trapped in this cartridge with you, which this info card also seems to imply. We head straight into the first world of the mod with the intro over Irregularity Isle.
First, of course, is Mario, who will be played by Chris Pratt.
It's me, a Mario.
Y'all don't even know what you're about to see. There's not a bigger Mario fan than myself. 10-year-old me would flip my turtle if I knew I'd grow up to voice this character. At Super Mario Movie, hashtag Super Mario Movie. Which seems to be a direct copy-paste of this tweet Chris Pratt made on the 8th of February, 2023. This song is the first instance we'll see of the mod breaking pace with its dark and atmospheric theming to take a lighter-hearted approach to its songs, but it certainly won't be the last. The song is referencing the announcement on the 23rd of September 2021 revealing that Chris Pratt would be Mario in an upcoming Mario movie. The chat box in the upper right-hand corner of the screen is likely meant to simulate the chat on that very fateful day. And also, something I found out after writing the script for this, is that if you read the chat box, some of the names that appear for some of the chatters are actually the creators of the mod.
Well, check it out.
When Joe started playing bootleg Mario games, he never expected to encounter one of the strangest characters he had ever seen. Upon opening a bootleg Flintstones game, Joel expresses one of the most intense and iconic reactions of his streaming career, based on Vinesauce Joel's streams and videos.
Well, check it out. Granddad! Flintstones? Oh no! Oh no! Oh Dios mío! Nah, screw it.
Most of what we need to know is right there in the description card. This character is from a bootleg Mario game where Mario's head was simply pasted over Fred Flintstone's. The second half of the song very faithfully recreates what the sprite looked like in said bootleg. An abomination of Hummer Team, the premise of their game, Somari, consisted in a recreation of Sonic the Hedgehog for NES, replacing the main character with Mario. ending up being a very criticized for its awful gameplay and level design. You think that description was confusing? We play as a Pikachu boyfriend with an Eevee girlfriend going against a Mario in a Sonic stage. Believe me, nothing here is straightforward, but let me break it down for you. As the description stated, Samari is the name of the bootleg that this Mario comes from. In actuality, that's not just a Mario, but he's also Sonic. He's a Mario that plays like a Sonic, hence the Sonic-based stage. Why our boyfriend and girlfriend Pokemon? Fuck if I know! I tweeted at the person who was credited with making this song, and they never responded, so I guess we'll just have to accept it. Pokemon are canonical in Mario's Madness. And with that, we finished all of Regularity Isle. Quite the short adventure we had here, but it's time to move on. Don't worry, this is the shortest road in the mod. And next is the Woodland of Lies. Our first song is a return to form for the mod, going back to the dark and atmospheric type of songs that feel more at home. On a quest to rescue his brother from the evil King Boo, Luigi did not have the courage to move forward and ran out of time, leaving his brother trapped inside a painting forever. Luigi can do nothing more except mourn over the loss of his brother. To those of you who don't know what Luigi's Mansion is, that description probably was a flashbang to your ears. However, I imagine you all know what the series is, and those of you who are more familiar with it may remember that in the original Luigi's Mansion, you can't run out of time. You could spend days in the mansion and still save Mario. So why does the description say that he ran out of time? Creepypasta tale, perhaps? No, actually, this is a reference to a theory that there was supposed to be a time limit in the game. The theory doesn't go very far, however, as there's only 2 pieces of evidence suggesting this. The kiosk version of Luigi's Mansion had a 90-second timer on it that people could play, and a commercial for the game saying that Luigi only had 1 night to save Mario. Nothing in the code or any pre-release footage suggests this timer's existence. There's another reference here, however. Luigi's sitting sprite at the start and end of the song both reference to a depressed Luigi, which is a beta model that was planned to be used when the player got a bad ranking at the end of the game. His sprite here specifically references this version of the model. And lastly, near the start of the song, Boyfriend can be seen hanging during the lightning flash. This is also a reference to a similar situation in the telephone room of Luigi's Mansion, where Luigi gets a call from EGAD, and during the call, lightning may strike, and it will look like Luigi's shadow is suspended in the air, giving the illusion that he is being hung.
You thought the Koopa worked alone?
Mario enters Koopa's fortress to defeat him once again, but the further in he ventures, strange events and occurrences transpire. Feeling uneasy, Mario steps through the final door to encounter Luigi? He reveals that he had been allied with Koopa for years, out of spite for existing in Mario's shadow. Standing high over the heat of a lake of lava, the 2 brothers fight to the death. So I'm going to be transparent here, break the flow a little bit. The next song after this one is a reference to the same story as well, so we'll be covering both at the same time. Mario never expected Koopa to have such an accomplice, much less that accomplice being his own brother, who, after a grueling battle of fraternity, is left horribly disfigured by the lava that he was thrown into. Based on the Slime Beast creepypasta, I Hate You. Once again, the description has credit for where the original creepypasta came from. The creepypasta opens up with someone mentioning that they seem to have found an alternate ending to Super Mario World. He mentioned that he downloaded a ROM for the game, and it was his main time waster. One day, he runs into a blind Boo, that being a Boo with no eyes. Nearby, he runs into a key that unlocks a secret exit in the level. A new level opens up on the world map that he had never seen before, despite having played through the game many times. Upon walking over to the level, the Bowser statue began crying blood. The level was titled, Oh God No. The level was a castle level that was full of blind Boos while Mario walks down a narrow hallway. Eventually, a bleeding bonsai bill starts chasing them backwards down the hallway that they came from. For a normal player, this would be inescapable death. However, he had a Game Genie and turned on invincibility. He ran through the bonsai bill and continued back on his way. However, not too long into his walk, he sees the text written on a black background, I hate you. They mentioned that they hadn't seen it on their first run-through. He eventually starts running into Big Boos, who certainly don't want him to be there. They begin to chase him, with a sadistic smile on their faces. Once again, text along the background, Why won't you die? The player eventually reaches the end of the hallway and finds a downward pipe. On the other end is a room filled with water and a question mark block with a mushroom in it. He runs to the right and quickly runs into some thwomps that are dropping and rising with seemingly no logic, randomly, at their own whims. They also seem to be covered in blood, and as is the floor. Gets to the other side of the thwomps and is met with a tunnel of spikes. Along both sides of the tunnel are dead Marios. It suddenly hits them. The blood the thwomps were covered in was past Mario's. Before too long, the Marios free themselves from the spikes and start chasing down the player down the spike-filled tunnel. Despite being invincible, the player didn't care to let any of the corpses touch him. He finds a purple pipe at the end of the tunnel and quickly drops down it. He was greeted on the other side by an empty corridor. It almost brought them a sense of relief, seeing that there was nothing unusual here. Toward the end of the corridor was a boss door with some sort of mushroom sitting beside it. A mushroom that should look somewhat familiar, as it appears at the end of Oh God No, and jump scares the player if they hit it. Mario enters a room with a bridge and boiling lava underneath it. Mario stares into the background, as no boss is in the room. Something can be seen in a background window, likely what Mario was watching. Mario begins looking around the room before Luigi walks in from the right side of the screen. You thought Koopa worked alone, he says? Which should also sound familiar, as this is the scene that plays before Oh God No begins. Which now, with all of this context, you may be wondering, is that creature in the window of the Oh God No cutscene? Let's take a look, why don't we? Well, look at that. There he is. And as a matter of fact, the creature is also in the window behind Luigi during the song. Luigi attacks Mario and gets overpowered and thrown into the lava, just like in the song. His final words when he gets pushed into the lava? Oh God No. Just like the title of the level, and just like the name of the song. Mario cried on the bridge, having just killed his own brother. The player notes nothing else strange happening for the rest of the game, with the exception of the ending screen. Luigi's skin is melted off and the princess is crying. Does that princess sprite look familiar? Once again, in Oh God No, that's the same sprite used in the song as the ending screen. The cutscene before I Hate You shows Mario leaving after having thrown his brother into lava. If you pay very close attention, you can see the creature in the window of this cutscene as well. Obviously, Boyfriend is here and gets caught by Luigi pulling himself out of the lava. And as we can see... Hold on. Hey guys, hey, does my hair look okay? Do you think she's single? Wait a minute. Do you think she could even tell us apart? I mean, I've got a whole extra dimension on that guy. I'm sorry, right, the mod. As we can see, the sprite is modeled almost directly off the end screen from the creepypasta. And believe it or not, the creature is still in the window, still watching, despite Mario not being there, which means it's likely watching Luigi. The consistency here is unmatched, and speaking of consistency, I Hate You is the perfect show of that. The text I Hate You will appear on the wall behind Boyfriend, not just because it's the song name. Also, sometime through the song, boos appear. Eyeless boos. The exact same ones from the creepypasta. And a little bit later in the song, we see dead Marios appear from the lava and cling to the bridge. The ones that were in the spike tunnel that chased after the player. Legends say that the fountain in the courtyard of Princess Peach's castle is the key in one of gaming's most discussed mysteries. As it turns out, Luigi was always there, trapped in the fountain, but something is preventing his escape, holding him deep beneath the fountain. This song is a personal favorite of mine, as my first game I ever played was Super Mario 64, which is where our story starts. Super Mario 64 was Mario's big leap into the third dimension, and while the game was revolutionary, it also had its fair share of mystery. On the same level of the haunted piano in Big Boo's Haunt was the idea that Luigi was somehow unlockable in Super Mario 64. People quickly discovered the fountain in the courtyard, and it almost looked as if the text on the fountain read, L is real 2401. One of the main theories that started up because of this text was the idea that you had to run around the fountain 2,401 times. Of course, this didn't lead to anything. Eventually, IGN would put out a bounty for anyone that could prove that Luigi was supposed to be in the game, and once again, nothing came of it. Only in July of 2020 was there a leak of some Nintendo files and source code. And among them was, of course, Luigi for Super Mario 64. Exactly 24 years and 1 month after the game's initial release in Japan. Super Mario 64 is subject to an urban legend, that being the personalization of every copy. The game will change and adapt to suit its player, and there have been many who claim to see new characters, small changes, new maps, and even strange creatures, like a Wario head who would chase you until the very end. This song, much like Alone, is a combination of a couple of different references. Once again, to Super Mario 64. One depends on the other, so we'll discuss them in order. First was the idea that Super Mario 64 was personalized, meaning that each copy was different and there was some kind of AI that would adapt to the player. The proof of this AI existing doesn't go much farther than people mentioning that their friends' copies of the game seem different than their own, such as a secret one-up in the stage Womp's Fortress, where some people remember there being a cracked wall texture, and others say that it was never there. Of course, this also ties back to our Wario head, who also showed up in Nintendo's Focused on Fun panel from E3 of 1996. In this clip, Wario says, "You want fun? Wario show you fun," just like in the hypnotization section of the song. And speaking of that section, hypnotization is also a reference to a commercial for Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, where Wario tries to hypnotize the player and helping him get rid of Mario.
Hey, Wario, destroy Mario!
Don't fall under Wario's evil spell in Super Mario Land 2, only on Game Boy.
A corrupted mushroom once sauntered these woods. Mario, unknowing of the consequence, crossed its path. Rumor has it, the disturbed amalgam preys on the creatures here, and you're just in time for the last course. Turmoil by Scrubdub. Turmoil is the name of the Mario-Yoshi hybrid that we run into here. Mario ingested a mushroom that had Yoshi code stuck inside, thus creating this abomination. Also for this song, Boyfriend can be seen as a Galumba, which looked like this back in Super Mario World, which is what the song seems to be taking place in. One of the most mysterious ROM hacks of SMW Central, V, or better known as Coronation Day, warps the characters into the world of Super Mario World to tell an intriguing and creepy story. Peach being a character deformed to such an extent that her mere presence in the ROM is to be feared. Dark Forest is based on a ROM hack called V, and because I want to be as informed as possible for you all, I actually learned how to patch ROM hacks and decided to play the ROM for myself. So after having played the ROM hack myself, I am now even more thoroughly confused. As such, I have decided to do some more research into the hack to see if maybe the internet can clear up some of my questions. First things first, Coronation Day has 7 endings. I only found 2 and got close to finding another, but most of these endings are irrelevant. Ending 2 is the only one that we really need to concern ourselves with as far as this adaptation goes. Peach wanders into a forest by herself, where she is either killed by some malevolent entity that was staying there, or she killed herself. And now either she got possessed by said thing, or she haunts the forest. Or the forest was haunted all along. I think I personally believe that the forest wasn't entirely haunted before Peach's death. She likely got possessed by something and then started going batshit crazy in the woods. Ending 2 takes some work to get to, but I'll only cover the relevant bit. Mario starts off falling down a pit before landing on a wooden platform. Mario will be asked to clean the weeds off of the platform. The screen will go black, and he will begin falling down the hole again, this time being asked to gather wood from the nearby trees for walls. Once again, the screen goes black and he's falling down the hole again. Then he is asked to gather more wood for the roof. When he falls down a fourth time, he falls in a hole in the roof before the game freezes. You walk through this house during a normal playthrough of the mod, in which you can see a corpse in the middle of the room which is unidentifiable. This ending confirms that this corpse is somehow Mario, which is referenced halfway through Dark Forest when Coronation Day Peach throws Boyfriend into some kind of house with a dead Mario in it. And as we can see, there's a hole in the ceiling. I would also be remiss if I didn't call attention to the broken bridge underneath Coronation Day Peach. For the sake of brevity, know that in order to get to the house ending, Peach has to walk over a bridge which breaks underneath of her. During the ending of the song, she begins to glitch out, which is also very prominent in the ROM hack. Also, I haven't mentioned death animations before now, but each song has a unique death animation, and this song's death animation is a callback to the ROM hack, where Mario falls into a hole and becomes a shadow with white eyes and glitching text surrounds him. And with that, Woodland of Lies comes to a close. Definitely a heavy hitter in the creepypasta and horror atmosphere department. Which is why we're turning this fucking car around and jumping straight into Content Cosmos. The least horrifying and atmospheric shit in the entire mod. Okay, look, I know you were probably really enjoying all the in-depth horror analysis and whatnot, but it's time for a break. And what a better way to start off than with... Have you ever wondered why there are funny falls all over the internet? Well, this was all done by Mario, who, for years, has bothered people all over the world to cause these hilarious moments. Based on Pastex's series, Super Bad Mario. This song isn't much deeper than the description implies. Guy edits Super Mario World Mario over some funny clips of people eating shit. Hence why Mario bounces off girlfriend's head, fucks you up with turtle shells and poison mushrooms, and knocks the whole fucking health bar off screen. If you happen to use down scroll instead of up scroll like I do, Mario notices your bullshit and fucks with you anyway. Also, I don't see this anywhere on the wiki, but I happen to notice that the backing track for Bad Day is Levels by Avicii. So take that, Mario Madness Wiki, my video is better, and now the mods are gonna add that as trivia out of spite, I fucking know it.
You gonna tell Mom I was smoking?
No, Mario, I'm not gonna tell.
Yeah, you better not, or I'll kick your ass. Anyway, just keep your mouth shut, Scroat. Here come the guys. Hey.
The plans of a young, rebellious Mario were thwarted when his mother asked him to take his brother with him, being quite childish and gullible, barely in his 30s. Now he is forced to hang out with his friends, accompanied by an unbearable geek brother. Based on the Hot Diggity Demon animation, Luigi Stay Out. Once again, not much more beyond the description to talk about. The song is replicating the art style of an animation that was released back in May of 2014 by Hot Diggity Demon. A lot of the lines spoke by Mario in this song are taken directly from the original video itself, while Luigi's dialogue is instead replaced with Boyfriend's finest Italian impersonation. Girlfriend replaces Daisy, and also says 2 of Daisy's lines. However, unlike Daisy, she doesn't give Luigi LSD or a blowjob, and until you watch the animation, you will have no idea if that's a joke or not.
We did what you said, Mario. The Kickstarter sucked. The team's done.
The game wasn't much popular than people thought, boyfriend. You think I don't know about the merchandise? You tried to fuck me.
We know who Mario is, or do we? In Secret Histories, we show the true face of characters who are seen as heroes, but in reality hide secrets that you would never imagine. Mario doesn't like competition, and wanting to continue with his monopoly, he won't mind killing people to achieve his goal. Based on MASH'd Secret Histories series. As is the trend for this world so far, this song is replicating another animation that came out on September 25th of 2015 called Secret Histories of Super Mario Bros. Featuring Zuril. Specifically, this song seems to be referencing the section with Sonic around the 1 minute mark. The speech in Dictator is almost identical to this section of the animation, even having boyfriend and girlfriend tied to a pipe like Sonic. And Sonic gets blown up by a bonsai bill, just like the bonsai bill notes in the song in the explosion at the end of the song. Mario doesn't like video game characters from other consoles, especially in his races. He begins murdering everybody else partaking in the race, where his colleagues invited characters from PlayStation, Sega, and Newgrounds? Based on the Flash Gits animation, Racist Mario. This song is based on an animation by Flash Gits posted on August 5th of 2014. Racist Mario is exactly what it sounds like. Mario is racing while being racist, killing any non-Nintendo characters he finds on the track. In the original video, he kills Sega characters, PlayStation characters, and even tries to kill Luigi because of course he does. His opening line to the song is even in the animation itself. However, as the ending shows in the song, Kratos actually ends up winning because, frankly, how could you beat Kratos, really? Kratos would give M a run for his money if a 3-foot-tall blue-balled gremlin can. Under the control of booze, Mario has gone mad with power. Taking up the aid of a sharp blade, he has begun cutting down every individual who crosses him, with the goal of obtaining one thing, the Power Stars. He will stop at nothing, killing the princess and even his own brother. You're next. Based off Power Star by D-Sun. This is our first return to form from this entire world, and it's also the final song. This character is a reference to an animated series by Daniel Sun, and while the original videos can't be found on YouTube anymore, there are re-uploads available, namely by Flash Archive. It's a 4-part series totaling around 25 minutes. Boos possess Mario and command him to go get all of the Power Stars and kill anyone who gets in his way. Mario quickly gets a hold of his trusty sword, as is seen in the mod, and gets his sights on Peach, who is currently guarding one of the stars. Peach escapes and Mario runs off to find another Power Star. He finds another, this time guarded by Luigi. And Luigi instead decides to fight his brother. Mario wins and takes the Power Star. However, he decides to spare his brother. Luigi reconvenes with Peach to tell her about the booze. Mario finds another Power Star, and Luigi rushes it to stop Mario. Luigi gets quickly overpowered by his brother, who takes another Power Star. Mario throws Luigi into a wall where Peach just so happens to be, who gives Luigi another Power Star, because he has done such a great job up to this point with the other two, huh? The brothers go back at it in almost a Dragon Ball-esque fight scene, in which, in true Dragon Ball style, takes up an entire episode. Eventually, Mario gets the Power Star out of Luigi before saying a line that is present in the mod. Your struggle is pointless, we have already won. The animation ends with Mario killing Luigi and Peach before breaking free of the possession just long enough to kill himself. You encounter a lonely Mario on a shore with a castle on the horizon. He emits a strange and unsettling aura that keeps you on edge. This song uses Super Mario Land aesthetics, and we are up against GB, which is a character actually made up by Marco Antonia, the director of the mod. Marco mentions that he wanted to have his own creepy Mario based on his own favorite Mario game. In this case, Mario Land 6 Golden Coins. There's been a few theories tossed around about what GB could stand for, but Marco says it's just GB, there's no meaning behind it. Aside from that, Marco had a little Q&A on his Twitter, no I'm not calling it X, letting people ask questions about the mod. Someone asked about GB, and Marco mentioned that GB is just pure code mixed within Mario.exe, being M in this case, and he can even travel to other Mario games. And we can also see that there was a plan for his third phase, and it was going to use this. But in the mod, we only get 2 phases. Speaking of his second phase, GB is one of the only 2 characters in the mod who were able to manipulate the timer at the top of the screen. And don't worry, we'll get to the other shortly. The other interesting thing to mention from this Twitter exchange is that he mentions that GB is more powerful than Mario.exe. Well, Marco, if you're watching, I love you, good boy. Which is definitely what GB stands for. Waiting within his Virtual Boy console, Mr. Virtual waits for his next victim to appear, for he can then warp their mind into insanity. Little did he know his victim would be a blue-haired boy, led here following the disappearance of his girlfriend. Before we really get into this, I feel it's important to mention that up until this point, boyfriend and girlfriend haven't really been separated. They are somewhat separated in Golden Land, so my theory is that GB separates them, and then boyfriend finds Mr. Virtual first. Speaking of Mr. Virtual, there's a good bit to cover. This song uses the art style of the Virtual Boy, a Nintendo console that did extremely poorly and was supposed to be a VR console, but it only rendered in red and black, and no other colors to try and simulate depth. Mr. Virtual was created by Stupendous Snart, and was the antagonist of an analog horror series called The Virtual Files. The creator of Mr. Virtual held a Q&A on Twitter, still not X, and the most intriguing question I saw was about how Mr. Virtual would deal with other entities. He specifically mentions that Mr. Virtual would kill any other entity that was in his game, which means that Mr. Virtual is either not strong enough to fight against M, or M has him contained into some little subsection of his world to keep him happy. Given that Mr. Virtual is able to manipulate the screen that we, the players, see and play on, I imagine that he isn't exactly a pushover. Food for thought, I suppose. Mr. Virtual inhabits a Virtual Boy console and torments people who put it on, and even has the ability to possess people who play the game. Either he torments people into killing themselves, or he possesses people. If you're more interested in the story, I'll leave a link to the wiki page about him in the description. Checking up on his missing friends, Pico is pulled into M's world and is met with a mysterious Luigi. This version of Luigi comes from a fan game called TooLate.exe. As such, I once again played this fan game, and frankly, it feels significantly more like a rage game than a horror game. Regardless, there are 5 references to the original material I want to mention. The first of which is the background the song starts with is ripped directly from the second level you play in the game. Secondly is when Luigi turns around and elongates. Third is the transition between the first and second phase of the song, which is a reference to a later level in the game. Fourth is the third phase of the song where Pico runs through what I lovingly call the Luigi hallway. Lastly is the death animation for this song, which is Luigi biting off Pico's head, which also happens in the original game, but to Mario. To end this song off, the Mario that appears alongside Pico is likely Mario from the original game trying to help Pico escape, because Mario is terrified of what his brother has become. DJ Balliu is upset. As the secret host of Mario Party DS, he takes it personally when he finds out his players haven't even paid for the game. Notoriously quick to exact his revenge, your best option is probably apologizing, but be hasty because he won't give you all day. Good luck, boyfriend. DJ Balliu is the host of a series made by Joey Perleone about anti-piracy in Mario Party DS, and for a song about anti-piracy, it is probably one of the best songs in this mod. There's a unique mechanic of writing words on a touchscreen, and as well as the aspect ratio of... I'm not a sin... whatever. Aspect ratio of the mod window turning into that of a DS, and the 8-bit recreation of the notes and note markers. Boyfriend can be seen behind bars, which is also what happens to the Mario Party cast in the original material. The creator of DJ Balliu actually voices him in this mod during the game over quotes. Hold on. I think I need a minute. Criminal? I'm not a criminal. I haven't done anything. I'm sorry. Moving on. Upon reaching the end of 1-1, you find Mario? MX, owned by FrazDude. MX is a non-EXE Mario created by FrazDude, and when I went to the wiki to do my research, I noticed the link to the game page was broken. However, if you go to the creator's Twitter, you can find a link to the new game page. So, hey, Mario Madness Wiki, please fix that. Thanks in advance. Anyway, after about 2 hours of suffering through the game, which, much like Overdue, is a rage game in a horror coat, I got the footage I needed, which was surprisingly really only from the first level. This weird orange-looking Mario at the start of Powerdown is the one that talks to you in front of the castle and chases you down at the start. Once he changes forms into a big version, which is called MX, we get to look at more references. The face in the sky is a cloud, which also appears in the game along with the eyeball hill. Luigi's head on the pike is a reference to the Game Over screen, from which the game I am all too familiar with. His line through the song, "Innocence doesn't get you far," is also a line from the game. MX has brutally murdered your girlfriend, but you don't have time to think about that. You have a choice: run or suffer the same fate as her. During the cutscene, the text "Run" appears over top of MX, which is a reference to the game when you start getting chased. The time will simply read "Run." The background will begin flashing red during certain sections, which also happens in the game. Mario 85 eventually got an update to include 1-2, but this is only slightly brushed on in Demise as the color scheme is used. Eventually, girlfriend comes back to rescue boyfriend with an Asian accent for whatever reason.
Don't worry, we're safe.
What the fuck? He's back! Wait, he's not allowed to do that! And what's wrong with the time? Why is it stuck at 3 seconds? And there's no sanctity in this forbidden place! Come on, you gotta get away! Boyfriend manages to escape MX just barely. If there are still things like that down here, what else could be left in the final world? Speaking of...
Oh, hey, paisanos. My name's Mario, but you probably knew that already. Now, you may be wondering...
This cutscene is recreated from another video on the Greenio channel where Mario addresses the viewers and his dialogue is the same as in the video before boyfriend and girlfriend show up.
Anyways, so you and your friend here have arrived at a very crucial moment. Say, how would you two like to be a part of the new Nintendo Mania's first episode, huh? That's the attitude. Let's get her rolling.
You find yourself face to face with a seemingly friendly Mario, the host of a new show, Nintendo Mania. Here, he presents Nintendo's hottest new game releases, and is presenting Super Mario 64 in the first installment. His brother Luigi stands in for him in the game while he conducts his presentation, but as things begin to go wrong for Luigi, this seemingly friendly Mario shows his not-so-friendly side. Based on Greenio's Super Mario 64 Classified. About halfway through the song, we can see Luigi on the television, and it seems like he's underwater. Interestingly, this is foreshadowing to the next song, Abandoned. Other than that, the only reference I could find to the original work was the ending of the song with Mario, Luigi, and Peach all standing together, which is a reference to the end of the 6th uploaded episode. This song starts off with a cutscene and an eyeless Mario giving us some dialogue. This dialogue is taken directly from the 5th uploaded episode. The text saying "leave" over and over again up and down the screen is a reference to the piece of dialogue in the 4th uploaded episode. Mario is nowhere to be seen after blacking out. You find yourself in Wet Dry World in front of a strange statue and a floating bloodied Luigi, based on Greenio's Super Mario 64 Classified. The setting for the stage is a reference to the 2nd uploaded episode of Super Mario Classified, where Mario ends up in the sunken city in Wet Dry World and finds Luigi at its center. There are notes in the middle of this song that look almost like colorful diamonds, and hitting them lowers the water level. This is a reference to a mechanic in the same world in Super Mario 64, where the water level will rise or lower depending on the height of the diamond that you hit throughout the level. There's a reference to the end at the end of the 2nd uploaded episode of Super Mario Classified after Mario finds Luigi in the sunken city. The end screen that shows up before the song can be seen here as well. This character is simply a Mario costume that came to life much like the animatronics from FNAF at Freddy's, and while his story in the original material isn't much more than a creepy element, Marco decided to add him anyway because of a Spanish creepypasta. Now, I don't speak Spanish, so I can't confirm nor deny this, so we'll just kind of move along. We do, however, have the creator saying the costume was originally going to have more significance in the story than it ended up having. And with that, we have finished World 5. Short one, hey? Well, don't worry. There's still one last thing.
Well done. Very well done. I must say, I am impressed. You're a long way from home, aren't you? Tell me, why do you persist? No matter. All good things must come to an end. You broke our little deal, and I can't let that slide. And you fell right into my hands, thinking your path was clear, goalpost in sight. But no. Tell me, do you know what all of the creatures down there have in common? They're all in my game. They all belong to me. You cannot undo what has been started. Your feet will set in motion the moment you realize like a little cartridge. The both of you are my playthings now. and we're going to have so much fun. Come and face me, little rat. Your time has come.
I won't keep you waiting any longer. Welcome to the end. It's official, everybody. We've hit the beginning of the end. M is done fucking around and means business. This is an 8-minute and 36-second endurance test and is the final song of the mod, fittingly named All-Stars, after Nintendo's own series of games called All-Stars that are generally just a collection of titles. Act 1 is against M himself, and has us playing as boyfriend and girlfriend. And don't you worry, M wasn't planning on playing fair from the start. At the end of Act 1, M steals away girlfriend, and boyfriend is left to fend for himself against Omega. Omega is a reference, as well as the Act 2 background, to Super Mario Bros. 3. Omega is just Mario with the Tanuki leaf suit. M created him in order to distract boyfriend, and much like his creator, Omega wastes no time with bringing more creatures onto the stage, giving us a one-eyed version of Luigi and Wario, but for some reason giving Yoshi both of his eyes. Real favoritism I see here, Mr. Omega. Clearly, boyfriend is to be feared if you thought you needed a 3-to-1 advantage. For Act 3, our opponent is... girlfriend? While Omega distracted boyfriend, M killed girlfriend and disemboweled her, and now is using her as a puppet against boyfriend. M is trying to convince boyfriend to commit suicide by jumping off the pipe while he sings to him about how his girlfriend is dead and he failed to save her.
Stronger and you are alone. You can't win, so why do you still fight?
Act 4 begins and boyfriend is alone. Girlfriend is nowhere to be seen. Now it's just boyfriend against M. Everything this horrific adventure has built up to comes to an end right here. As the song plays, we can see character icons appear alongside M, almost as if they're on his side, helping him to try and take boyfriend down. Boyfriend clearly doesn't want to give up. He's come too far. M has taken the one thing he had, and boyfriend isn't going to take that lying down. Boyfriend tries to remember girlfriend, but his memories are already becoming corrupted. Boyfriend, nonetheless, pushes on. M has faked girlfriend's death before, so surely she can still be alive. Right? Surely if boyfriend can just find some way to fend off M, he can find her, and they can be reunited, just like they always have been. Forgive me, but I don't really think that's an option. Try as hard as you might. M already told us that our fate was sealed from the start. No matter how hard you try, sometimes your best just isn't good enough. The credits actually hold some interesting little tidbits that I want to cover before we go into any other theories that I have. Firstly, there's music playing in the background that seems to be coming from M. He sounds remorseful. He sounds sorry for having killed boyfriend and girlfriend.
After the final curtain has closed, so when the script is made true, complete removal of you is the outcome. Is this really the outcome? But will it be the same? With you gone, it's a mad, mad world. It's a mad, mad world. It's a mad, mad world without you. The stage is set, but hard players have all gone home. Poor grade production, our world, and yet I'm alone. You've met your maker, I've said my piece. So why won't this feeling cease? And so it clutches around my soul. I feel the bitter, everlasting cold.
Is this what I wanted? Am I satisfied? And now I'm standing tall, yet all I want to do is hide inside this empty shell, this husk, this world, this empty hell. I wander through, my song rings true. The world is mad, and I am too, without you.
The credits end with a shot of Pico finding a dead boyfriend and girlfriend. This is where our story comes to an end. However, I already hear some of you clickety-clacketing it up in the comments, calling out the images that were shown behind the credits. Don't worry, we'll get there. As far as story goes, we're done. M kills boyfriend and girlfriend, and that's that. Of course, some people are not happy with the ending. As such, I offer you an alternative. As we saw in the background of the credits roll, there were images of what seemed like boyfriend and girlfriend on a set with the whole cast of the mod. This is a reference to Super Mario Bros. 3, where a similar theory is proposed because at the start of Super Mario Bros. 3 there is a curtain rising. Here we get some images in the credits, like girlfriend's corpse from Powerdown being sold for $15. All of this seems to indicate what we just saw was a play, a tragic tale put together by all of these characters for our enjoyment. And that's all to that one. If you come here looking for a secret happy ending, that's the best you're getting. So I would probably close the video now. For the rest of us who want to hear about some of my own thoughts and things that I noticed, let us continue. I'll start off a little less psychotic with the theory that M was actually unable to kill Boyfriend up until the exact moment that he did. I have a few details that I point to as evidence for this. First off is that Boyfriend in general isn't really scared of the monsters that he runs into. He only really gets scared when Girlfriend either isn't around or is killed, such as with Paranoia, where she's gone and Mr. Virtual disguises himself as her, or in Powerdown, where MX kills her right in front of him. But Girlfriend returns in the next song to save Boyfriend, albeit she fails, but she's still alive and clearly escapes MX. M likely noticed this change in Boyfriend without her around, so his first move in All-Stars is to take her away. All-Stars certainly isn't the first time that Girlfriend supposedly dies, so why should this be any different? M is trying to break Boyfriend's spirit because, for whatever reason, he is unable to harm him until he does. M goes as far as telling Boyfriend to step off of the pipe in Act 3 of All-Stars, literally telling him to kill himself because he couldn't save Girlfriend. M needs Boyfriend to believe that Girlfriend is dead, or else his plan doesn't work. M tries his hardest to make Boyfriend believe that he is this absurdly powerful being and that everything was rigged from the start, and even between Act 3 and Act 4, M says, "We are one soul stronger, and you are alone. So why do you still fight?" M easily could just shove Boyfriend off the fucking pipe that he's standing on due to his like 6 fucking hands, but he doesn't. For whatever reason, M either can't or refuses to kill Boyfriend. But M wins when Boyfriend starts remembering Girlfriend, and the one memory that appears on the right side of the screen is distorted. That was the exact moment that M won. Boyfriend put up as much of a fight as he could muster, but it's not that hard to imagine that all the creatures and imagery of his girlfriend dying were finally getting to him. And that little bit of doubt, that singular moment of weakness, is all that M needed. Going along with that theory, but taking a step back, is that M didn't want to kill them. M's beef was with Girlfriend's father, not either of them. And M was enjoying the company, having new people in his world that he could torment. He vaguely says this in the end credits song. "This is what I wanted. Am I satisfied? And now I'm standing tall, yet all I want to do is hide inside this empty shell, this husk, this world, this empty hell. I wander through, my song rings true. The world is mad, and I am too, without you." Obviously, we can't just assume that he's talking about Girlfriend and Boyfriend here, right? Well, yeah, we kind of can. The credit song starts with the line, "Happy to defeat at the hands of all of us and all of me." The song is being played right after M kills Boyfriend, so it's not too far-fetched to say the whole section is M talking about them. As for why M still decided to kill them, I'm unsure. That part is really all that I'm missing to make this a solid theory. All I have to go off of is that the idea that M isn't actually evil. We can hear during the credits song toward the end that his voice shifts, almost as if he's returning to some original form, and his thoughts are more sincere, remorseful, and tormented, almost like a Jekyll and Hyde situation. Or maybe M just loses his mind sometimes. Maybe he just let rage consume him. It's hard to tell, really, but it is definitely my favorite theory that I have so far. So, with that in mind, let's talk about some other stuff. Alright, tiny paragraph. I'm all for tiny paragraph. I only have 2 smaller things that I want to mention before we end off this video. The first thing I want to bring up is a gameplay mechanic that I have neglected to mention. If you fail any song in the mod, except for Mario Sing in Game Rhythm 9 for some reason, 3 times, Luigi will show up and offer help. If you accept his help, he plays through the song like a bot would, and as far as story progress goes, the game considers it a proper clear. Does that Luigi look familiar to you at all? It's Luigi from I Hate You, and if you'll recall, he wants to kill Mario. As such, I don't think it's too unreasonable to say that I Hate You Luigi is hoping Boyfriend to get through all of these monsters so he can take a shot at M, because I Hate You Luigi wants him dead just as much as Boyfriend and Girlfriend want to escape. The last thing I want to talk about is Peach's significance in this mod. She's only seen 4 times throughout the entire mod. First is in Starman Slaughter, where her and Yoshi interrupt M by throwing him into lava, which is very interesting that M would let that happen in his own world. Second of which is a very brief appearance in Oh God No. Third being her main appearance, which is Dark Forest, and lastly is No Hope, where she's dead on the ground. Peach also has no appearance at all in All-Stars, a song that should bring together every character like the All-Stars games are known for. We get Mario as M, we get Luigi, Wario, and even Yoshi, who has arguably less appearances throughout the mod than Peach. Because of all this, I think M is scared of Peach. This one goes off the rails a bit, so stay with me. Coronation Day is the inspiration for Dark Forest, and in the ROM hack, Peach gets possessed by an evil entity that rules the forest and calls itself the God of the Forest. I find it hard to believe that M would let this one monster control an entire in-game world, that being the Woodland of Lies. However, M is unable to do anything about it because Coronation Day Peach is on the same level of power as him. However, the Coronation Day Peach we currently see is unawakened. There is an ending in Coronation Day where Mario burns down the King's Forest and it transforms into an almost eldritch horror type being and consumes the entire Mushroom Kingdom. M doesn't want to risk upsetting it, so he chooses to let her keep the forest. The only problem with my last 2 theories that I could notice is that both I Hate You Luigi and Coronation Day Peach appear alongside M during Act 4 of All-Stars, but if you're willing to suspend disbelief on that one detail, then they are certainly interesting little ideas. And with that, I want to thank you all so very much for watching, and if you did like this video, make sure to subscribe and like the video, it really does mean a lot. This was my first really big project, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, and if you all want more Mario's Madness, I've been throwing around the idea of doing a part 2 to this video, because there is still a good bit of stuff I didn't cover. This was just the main story, which we could go into a bonus song that unlocks after you beat All-Stars. We could get into all the different death animations for each song. We could go over all the version 1 songs and the differences between V1 and V2. There's a bunch of unused content for the mod. There's plenty of ideas. I could also do a video going more into depth of all the playthroughs I had to do, of all the ROM hacks for this video, like Coronation Day, 2Lake.exe, and Mario 85. So if there's anything that you want to see from me, be sure to leave it in the comments. I will be reading all of them. Thank you very much for watching all the way through, and I will see you in the next video.